everybody? How's it hanging? This is Kevin from the Chord Progression Podcast, brought to you by My Song They Rock 2000 Day, as we call it, the best rock community on the internet. So, hope everyone's having a good day. It is Tuesday, October 1st, so someone, for the love of God, please wake up, Green Day, because September is over. However, it is hot as shit over here. I mean, I was driving home from work today. It was like 85 degrees at 4:30 in the afternoon in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. It's fall. Come on. Where's the fall weather? And I mean, I know I'm saying that now, but I just like the fall weather, man. That's just it. All right, but outside of that, a little bit of annoyance. We got a great show for you today because we have a guest to talk about a certain music festival that we will get to in a little bit. Plus, we had new music from Of Mice and Men. Hell yeah. Dragon Force. We had a lot of new music, so maybe we'll talk about that too. But first, we're going to go with the shameless plugs. So you know the shameless plugs section where we just kind of, if we had advertising, this is where we put it, but we don't have advertising. So there's that. However, what we do have is our very own stuff. So follow us on our social media platforms like Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and now TikTok. Also follow us on YouTube as well. And I mean, you're just going to get the full brunt force of it. On this podcast, we're on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Play, and on YouTube. We also have We have an Amazon Alexa skill. Ooh, I wonder what that is. So, well, you guys know what it is. It's where you can hear all the Song of the Day choices. Also, we do some great things here as well when it comes to getting you guys engaged with us and creating content. So we always have those IGTV videos, which gets you the behind-the-scenes look at kind of what we're thinking, where we're going with it. We also do things like our Instagram live streams every Wednesday night at 9 p.m. Central Time. It's an hour for you guys to come and just talk to us. Well, right now it's just me. It's been basically me for pretty much the whole entire time so far. But just to talk to me, we just get in a conversation, Q&A style. We've got the podcast that, you can be on. We've had small bands on here. We have Small Band Saturday, which we feature a new small band every single Saturday. This past week was probably my favorite one of the bunch. Gold Frankenstein Smur, or GFM. Three sisters out of Jacksonville, Florida, and I've got to tell you, they have a potential to be one of the biggest rock bands of the next decade, and we had them on the podcast, too, back in July, so go check out that episode. I do not remember what episode number that is. They might have been 24, as we're on 34 right now, and man, my back is already getting sweaty. I've been at this for only a couple minutes. I had to turn my fans off, my window is closed, my door is locked, so I'm going to be in a freaking hot box this whole entire time, but all jokes aside, all of that stuff that you're going to need to, like the social media stuff, podcasts, Alexa, all that stuff, that's going to be in the description. You can also check out, anything else that we have here. And I would appreciate it because I love you guys. If this is your first time listening, I want to say welcome to the Chord Progression Podcast. It means a lot to me. If this is your not first time here, well then, welcome back, guys. What's up? So, on to the show. Now, this past weekend, there was a music festival in Louisville, Kentucky that I badly wanted to go to. My buddy Chris, who I've had on the show beforehand, we did the halfway through 2019 review. He was talking about how him and his wife and a bunch of their friends were possibly getting a giant tour bus or, just kind of like an RV or something, and going from Minneapolis to Louisville, Kentucky for Loud on Life just for Friday. I mean, we'll get into that why, because of how awesome the lineup was on Friday. And if someone backed out, then I would be able to take their spot and they'd come pick me up in Milwaukee, which I thought, oh, awesome. I'm really hoping this happens. Turns out they didn't go at all, so I did not go to Louder Than Life, which kind of stunk because of how good the lineup actually is. Or was, I should say, because it's past now. So I was curious to see, I want to talk about this because that lineup was insane. I want to hear what it was like. I want to hear people's experiences. I was online looking at everyone's experience. However, I'm like, you know what? I know some people that follow us, that are consistently following us, that are going to Louder Than Life. And let's see if we can talk to them. So I had one guy all set up. He did an episode of the podcast for us. His name is Jake. He was on our I Prevail review, so we talked to the new I Prevail album Trauma back in March with him. The day we're shooting this, so I'm shooting this the day beforehand. It was coming out on Tuesday, but on Monday, September 30th, it was his birthday. So, understandably so. Then had another person that I could have had in the podcast. Her name was Gracie. However, she couldn't make it because she was traveling, had to get back to school. So it was just a lot of not working times. Then we have a third one. His name's Jesse. He's from Georgia, and he was at Louder Than Life as well. And I asked him, hey man, do you want to be on the podcast? Do you want to talk about Louder Than Life? And he's been on our live streams for the past, I think, 20, 25. I mean, he's been on there for a while now. And he said, you know what? Sure, I'd love to be on. So, let me open up the Instagram, and we'll have to give him a call. So, to give you a little bit of a rundown for Louder Than Life before we get going, let's see, where was I going with that? Taking a look at the lineup. So, you had stuff like on Friday, the day when we had Slipknot saying, Day to Remember, Chevelle, I Prevail, Beartooth, Motionless in White. I want to see New Year's Day, Guar, but I will be seeing Guar soon. I already seen Wilson. Saturday, I had like Guns N' Roses, Godsmack, Ice Cube, Hailstorm, Dropkick Murphy, Stone Temple Pilots, Suicidal Tendencies, Andrew WK, Bad Flower, Anti-Flag, Like a Storm. And then take a look at Sunday, Disturbed, Rob Zombie, Manson, Breaking Benjamin, 3 Days Grace, 741, In This Moment, Sick Puppies, and Fire from the Gods. So, this lineup was stacked. I'm not sure this is the biggest rock music festival of the year, but my God, did they put together the best lineup for this one. So, Jesse was there. He was on the ground all 3 days, I believe. However, we will see if he's got any great stories for us, and we'll talk about the whole entire festival as well. So let's get into it. Let's give Jesse a quick call. Well, hopefully it lasts pretty long for you guys. And let's see what we got. Already, is my phone gonna ring? You'll hear it if it does. So, don't worry about it. Okay, we got the call. Bing bang boom, bing bang gong.
Hello?
Hey, is this Jesse?
Yes, this is Jesse.
Hey, Jesse, it's Kevin from the Chord Progression Podcast, brought to you by My Song a Day, Rock 2000 Day. How's it hanging over there?
Great, man. How's it going in wherever you live?
Going in Milwaukee right now. It is, for the time of the year, it is hot. It is like mid-80s and humid right now, and I'm sweating right now just talking to you.
Dude, you don't want to know what it's like in Georgia. Like,
It's not good?
It's like it's like I'm in hell or something. Like, it's that hot.
So is it just like 90s and humid or something like that, or just sticking to you and just not going away?
Yeah. And it's in the middle of September, and it's supposed to, cool off somehow.
Yeah, and it's just not right now too. I mean, I've taken a look at the weather for me at least. It's supposed to get down to the mid 50s or back to the mid 50s by I think Thursday. So I like the weather when it's a little bit colder, so I'll stick with it. But
yeah,
I'm not sure about you when it comes to the weather, especially living in Georgia, knowing how hot and muggy it can get down there.
Yeah, it can get pretty warm in the time of weather. So.
Yeah, but enough with the weather. I mean, that's all.
Yeah, let's get down to business here.
Yeah, let's get down to business. So before we actually really get started, why don't you introduce yourself to everybody? Tell us a little bit about yourself, about the kind of music you like, your musical background, and then we'll jump into this insane Louder Than Life festival.
Alrighty. So what you got?
Alrighty, so let's just jump into Louder Than Life anyway. So, okay, so were you there all 3 days or just 1 day, 2 days? What was the plan?
To be honest, I didn't really go to the festival.
Really?
Yeah.
I thought you did.
I don't know how you heard that, but
I thought you said on the live stream that you were going to the festival.
No.
Well, now don't I look stupid for thinking that? My God.
No, it's all right, man. Don't worry about it.
Okay. I mean, for some reason I thought it was because I had a couple. I knew there were a good amount of people that were going there, but you know what? We can still talk about it anyway, just because I was, again, looking at the lineup. I'm not sure if you saw it, but for a rock music festival, they put together probably the most insane lineup I've seen in a long time.
Dude, I would have loved to went to that festival. A shame.
Well, look at like day one. That was the day I really wanted to go. I mean, you had Slipknot as the headliner, so
Yeah.
that's gonna be something that was insane. But then taking a look at like the other bands that are like kind of like the side stage headliners, you had Stained,
Mm-hmm.
A Day to Remember, Chevelle, I Prevail, Beartooth, and Motionless in White.
Yeah, that's a hell of a lineup, dude.
So
And
out of all those, like what would be the one band out of those that you're like you'd have to go see if you had a chance?
to be honest, I really want to see Slipknot, but yeah, that's probably a one band I really want to see whenever I get the chance.
Okay, so
And Stain,
yeah, what about Stained?
yeah, I like them too. I want to see them pretty soon. I saw Chevelle in August with Breaking Benjamin. I'm pretty sure I told you that.
Yeah, and 3 Days Grace.
Yeah.
I was actually kind of mad though about that tour just because I know I put out a list of like my top 10 favorite bands of all time, and literally in order from 6, 7, 8, it's Breaking Benjamin, 3 Days Grace, and Chevelle. So just to see all three of them back to back would have been insane. Now don't get me wrong, I've seen all three bands beforehand, but it's just like I really wish I could have seen them all live back to back to back. Just how insane that was. And I'd been looking and hearing stories about those shows from people just on Instagram, on Twitter, everywhere, just saying how insane of a time they had at that specific tour. So when it came to that show, what about you? Does that like anything like really stand out about it with the music or just the experience that you had at the show, or what anything with that?
To me, it was everything. The crowd, the energy, the music, it was just all there. And it was one of the best concerts I ever went to. Plus, it's my second concert I ever went to. So, I'll remember it till the day.
It was only your second concert ever?
Yeah, believe it or not.
Wow.
Yeah. I saw Rob Zombie and Marilyn Manson last year, so.
So you started out with your concert going experience with Zombie and Manson, and then you jump into Chevelle, 3 Days Grace, and Breaking Benjamin.
Yeah.
Man, you got off to one hell of a start.
Thanks.
So when you're talking about like with Breaking Benjamin, Chevelle, and 3 Days Grace, you're talking about the energy. I mean, because I've been to a lot of different shows before, and I kind of know the same amount. I kind of know the energy that Breaking Benjamin brings. I know the energy that Chevelle brings. I know the energy that 3 Days Grace brings, and they're all a little bit different with each other. Where I think 3 Days Grace brings a little bit more energy than the other two. Like, did you get that same kind of a vibe, or was it something different?
Probably something different. I like Breaking Benjamin's set with the pyro and lights and stuff. And believe it or not, when we got there, 3 Days Grace was already playing, so we kind of missed them. So we were just there for Chevelle and Breaking Benjamin.
Interesting. Was there did you not really care to see 3 Days Grace all that much, or was it just something where it's just, oh, if we see him, we see him. If we don't, we don't. It's not that big of a deal.
It was just a mix-up. When we were going there, we kind of got a little sped up in a way. So, yeah, we kind of, they did start around 7, and we got there like around 8.
Alrighty. Another question I like to ask people when it comes to 3 Days Grace specifically is because with myself, I really liked the band, especially earlier on when they had Adam Gonte as their frontman, but now with Matt Walsh there, for the little bit of that you saw from Matt Walsh as the frontman for 3 Days Grace, what'd you think of him live, and and if he was covering any of their older songs, what you thought of him?
I thought it was pretty good. He got a good singing style. Even though Adam got that kind of grunchy kind of voice that we all prefer, but he did pretty good. And I saw him do "I Hate Everything About You," and I thought they pulled off pretty good. So I'll give him kudos for that.
I kind of just want to ask you that just because I felt the exact same way when I saw them. I was very concerned just with how much I liked the sound with Adam Gontier and just kind of curious to see how it was when he was going to perform. I have to agree with you on I Hate Everything About You. Matt did a really good job with that to the point where I'm like, you know what? I can't be mad at this. Like, this is great. Why not?
Yeah.
And then also because I saw Breaking Benjamin earlier this year, and also seeing from some of the stuff that they've done in this tour, they did some very similar things where they had, like, I've seen this, like, when in terms of the set, they brought out, like, Ben Burnley had this thing with, like, drums and lightsabers come out of it. They'd play the Imperial March from Star Wars, and then they cover a couple of songs.
Do that too.
Yeah, what were your thoughts on that?
I thought it was really cool. I heard they were going to do a Star Wars theme and do a couple of cover songs from like Pantera, Metallica, and etc. And they do really good with the covers. I thought they nailed it on the Pantera cover, and so yeah.
Did they cover Bohemian Rhapsody in that as well?
I think they did. I'm not 100% sure or remember. But I do remember them covering Cowboys from Hell and Enter Sandman by Metallica.
Okay, then they might have flipped it around because I do remember when I saw them it was Enter Sandman, but they did not do Cowboys from Hell. So they maybe have switched them around a little bit. Who knows?
Probably so.
Yeah, was that the show when Matt came out and also took part in Diary of Jane with Breaking Benjamin, or was that something that was later on in the tour that you didn't get to see?
They didn't do that actually, because they invite. I think what they usually do when they're doing that song, they invite a couple people from the crowd on the stage. Well, we're about to leave, but I wanted to see them do Diary of Jane. When they were doing it, they had a crowd on stage, but I did not see Matt there, so I don't really remember that.
Alrighty, and when it comes down to it as well, they usually bring on kids like that, or like people or kids, primarily kids actually, on stage for Diary of Jane. I've seen Ben Burnley actually call people out in the crowd for fighting while they had their kids there, and they removed the parents that were fighting from the show, and they brought the kids up on stage to like say like, you parents are being idiots, so they're not gonna be able to watch it. However, you're not a part of this. Like you're just here to enjoy the music. So why don't you come up on stage and watch side stage for the rest of the show? And it was only like 3 more songs, but still, I love the gesture from Ben on that one.
Yeah.
And then you said your first concert ever was Zombie and Manson. Now, I've never seen Zombie or Manson up to this point, so I'm very curious to hear your experience from that, especially with that being your first show ever.
Okay. Well, first, we didn't really have a good, seats or anything. We had to sit on, a lawn far away from the stage, so I couldn't really see much. But Manson came out, and it was kind of speculated that he might not be performing because someone said that he wasn't going to do the tour. But he was there, and thankfully. And Manson did pretty okay. I mean, it's Manson, so what do you expect? And Zombie stole the show, with his performance, as always.
What do you do to steal the show specifically? Again, I've never seen him live before, so I'm not really sure exactly kind of the differentiation between their two shows.
By Rob Zombie, he a lot of things. One, he puts props on the stage, whenever he's doing a song. If he's doing the song Dracula, he climbs up on this tower thing and sings it. And when he's doing some other song, some other props go on the stage, and it looks really cool, and the lighting and everything, it looks really nice. For Manson, he's not great of a singer, but you go up on age, so ever respect much.
See, what I thought with Manson, especially for that kind of a performance, he'd be putting on something a little bit more theatrical to kind of bring your attention more to the stage than versus the music as well. Where I mean, you get a lot of bands and they go up there and just play, where you're focused strictly on what they're playing and listening. However, then there's other bands like In This Moment, for example, where you're focused on like the pageantry and the theatrics that are going on stage. And I thought Manson would lean a little bit more towards that theatrics and pageantry than just straight up playing, if you know what I mean.
Mm. Yeah, I never seen in This Moment, but I do like some of their songs, and I hear they do a pretty good show, so I might give them a chance.
I've seen them once this year so far, and it was they were the headliner. Seven Dust opened for them. I had more fun at the Seven Dust show because for me specifically, I like jumping in the mosh pit. I like bouncing off of people. I like hitting people. I don't mind getting hit as well. It just energizes me.
You're like,
yeah, I'm kind of crazy like that. But then within this moment, there was nothing like that just because of how theatrical of a performance they put on. And I'll actually be seeing them again in 2 weeks because they're opening up for Disturbed, and now they're going to be in a much bigger venue with higher ceilings. So that I'm very curious to see what kind of a set like they put on and what they do with that.
Yeah, that'll be really interesting to see. My uncle saw Disturbed once with Rob Zombie, but I couldn't be able to go.
Oh, why not?
I don't know. I probably wasn't into the music back then like I was now. Something.
Alrighty, so then at what point did you really start getting into music?
I want to say around when I was about 10, I started getting into rock music because when I was younger, I grew up listening to old country and rock like Elvis, Johnny Cash, George Jones, etc. And the first two bands I really got into were 3/8 Grace and Breaking Benjamin. And after that, I got into, Disturbed, Chord, and Linkin Park, and many others.
And then it's just progressed to where we're at today, where you seem like more of just that full on, rock music fanatic and kind of a metalhead at the same time.
Yeah, exactly. The first band that broke me into metal was Slipknot because I had never heard anything like it before. Watched the music video for Psychosocial. I saw the mask. I just got so blown away. I just really got hooked up in this band, and I found other bands as well. And I discovered, more of like industrial bands like Pantera, Machine Head, and many others.
Interesting. And then as it stands right now, when you're looking at bands, it's because I can see that I've heard of the concerts you've been to, those two. And I mean, what bands are you looking at right now where you're saying, okay, the next time this band, comes through Georgia and I'm able to go to the show or comes through, maybe, I don't know exactly where you live in Georgia, if you're closer like to Florida, on that side, if you're closer to Tennessee, South Carolina, or Alabama, like if they're, or just right around Atlanta, if they're going to come by you and you have a chance to go see them, it's like, okay, there's no way I'm missing this show. What band would that be?
That's pretty hard because there's many bands I want to see, but if there's one Pacific band I would love to see, and I had one chance to see them, that would be Iron Maiden.
I mean, we can go into the other bands you want to see, but why Iron Maiden is like that top spot?
I don't know. Because one chance I had to see them, I got to just see them, but couldn't because, family problems. But, I hear they put on a great show, and I do like some of their songs. And going to this concert would really, I could be one of the people to say I saw Iron Maiden at concert, and it'll just be mind-blowing,
Yeah, 'cause I'm not sure how much of a comedy fan you are, but one of my favorite comedians, Bill Burr, he did a whole entire podcast, either it was last week or 2 weeks ago, all about how he got to go and see Iron Maiden play live for the first time, and just how he was absolutely blown away by it, from everything from just the way the stage was set up to Bruce Dickinson's voice, and to the fact that I think they hold the record for most merch sold at one single show, with I think selling like $750,000 in merch at one show alone.
Wow.
And I mean, this has been
Yeah.
a band that's been around since what, the late 70s, early 80s?
Yeah, so long since the time era of metal was rising. They're one of the biggest bands ever.
Well, and if you look at it right now too, I mean, take a look at all the music festivals that are going on. A lot of the top billed bands are metal, or like hard rock or metal bands that have been around for over 20 plus years, and that can be an issue in itself, just with the fact there's no really new one coming. I mean, I'll take a look at well, kind of just because we mentioned Louder Than Life. Friday, the top billed band was Slipknot. And then Saturday, the top billed band was Guns N' Roses. So, you're getting 80s rock right there. And then taking a look at Sunday, that there was two top billed bands, Disturbed and Rob Zombie, both around for 20 plus years. But then you take a look at other festivals as well, as like Iron Maiden's headlining. I was just at one 2 weeks ago, and the main headliner was Slayer, but I understood why Slayer was the main headliner, because it's their last show ever, and if you're going to put it out there, yeah, you're going to get a lot of people to show up. So it's very interesting. Like, I love the fact that they have staying power, but it's also worrisome because there's no really fresh acts kind of coming in. I think the freshest act that's really coming in that is having some sort of staying power is A Day to Remember at the moment.
Yeah, I've never been big on A Day to Remember, to be honest.
Don't worry, neither have I, and it's a little bit of a personal reason. It's just bad memories or not bad memories. It's just memories that I don't like to think about come up whenever I listen to Day to Remember. But again, I understand it. I know they're coming out with a new album, I think in November, so that'll be a fun one for me to have to listen to and go through and review. But I mean, take a look at some like the other, like, there's rock bands that are coming up that have been kind of formed in the late 2000s or early 2010s, like Hailstorm's another one that could potentially break through that mold as well. But it's every time I see Hailstorm, it's like, okay, you're opening for, like, on a major tour, you're opening for Godsmack, you're opening for Alice Cooper. It's like they're always opening for somebody.
Yeah. It amazes me that they've been around for so long and haven't really gotten to be like a kind of top band to start a tour with. Like, think of Breaking Benjamin, 3 Days Grace, etc., that did that tour. And think of doing that as well, but instead they're just opening for other bands. So
yeah, and that's actually I think a little bit of that's a little bit of a problem on the bands as well, a little bit and a problem on the on just the people in general and pop culture, because if you look at popular culture, rock music is really not a thing as it was, versus the early 90s, even the early 2000s when pop punk was huge. The 80s, the 70s, I mean, it's not a big thing anymore in terms of pop culture, at least.
Yeah, now people just listen to Justin Bieber or Post Malone or other pop artists that just go on whatever they see on MTV. They go, oh, that's good and stuff.
I'll say it's not even what they see on MTV. It's, okay, what are your friends listening to, and what's popular on what's popular going on Instagram, or what's popular on even like for really younger kids, like what's popular on TikTok these days, or what, like, oh, it's this band came out with this song, it's got a good beat to it, so we're gonna play it at a party, like if you're in college, like, oh, we're gonna play it at a frat party or something. Oh, this sounds good, and girls are moving to it, so oh yeah, we love this stuff. It's like, well, do you really like that stuff, or you just like the effect it has on certain people?
Yeah, and Post Malone saying that he's a fan of Ozzy Osbourne, and his fans just go and find Ozzy Osbourne, and say, oh man, how did I not heard of him before? I'm like, God damn, he's been around for so long. You ever heard of him?
So he's been around for 50 plus years. He was a legend. He was considered a legend of the music industry in the 1970s. And
Exactly.
this is before even, his solo career. This is before Bark at the Moon. This is before Crazy Train. This is before his 1 year on acid and just becoming a straight legend. I still think my favorite thing about it was when he had Ozzy Osbourne featured on that one song. It was I saw a meme. It was Post Malone fans asking who's Ozzy Osbourne. Ozzy Osbourne fans, who the hell is Post Malone? Then there's Ozzy Osbourne. Who the hell is Ozzy Osbourne?
Exactly. I listened to that song, and Ozzy, was obviously the best part about it.
Well, obviously, I mean, when you bring in Ozzy for anything, is usually going to be the best part of it. And that same kind of thing happened where a lot of the younger generation was just shocked and on, like, oh my God, who is this guy? The same thing happened, I think it was a year or two ago. I want to say 2 years ago, because Kanye West had a song where Paul McCartney was on it, and people were like, oh my God, this Paul McCartney guy is great. And it's just, this is one of the most important musicians of all time. And you're like, oh my God, Kanye put him on the map. No, this guy's been on the map since before you even, were a thought process. Or like any kind of a thought. Before your parents were like, hey, why don't we, go on a date, have some drinks tonight, and then all of a sudden, boom, you're conceived. Like, he was a legend before that was even a thought.
Yeah, I don't know how they can just do that.
I mean, I don't
like.
Keep going. I'm sorry if I cut you off.
No problem. Another thing, said that Taylor Swift was a fan of Tool, and people go to Tool, and they turn out they like Tool. Well, okay, so a pop artist says she likes a band. You go to this band, say you like them, but how do you really feel about them? Like, what is their music like to you?
Yeah, that's always one thing I've been curious about with a lot of these certain artists, because it's you're saying you like these rock bands or these other, maybe some classic rock bands, maybe some metal bands, maybe some newer bands. It's like, yeah, you like them. Okay, I'm glad that you said you like them, because now, your legions of fans are going to be, I got to go check this out because, my favorite pop artist said that she likes them, and, I listen to everything she does. I bow down to her. So, yeah, I'm going to go listen to them, like Taylor Swift, and saying she liked Tool. And then her fans basically had this whole entire meltdown when her new album came out, and then it was like #1 for the first week, and then it got knocked out of the #1 ranking by Tool's Fear Inoculum. And people just went ape crazy, like, oh my God, we have to stop Tool. It's, no, everyone's been waiting for this album for 13 years. It's gonna be #1 when it hits. Trust us. But it's also, I like what you said too, it's, if people are saying you like the band, it's like, I'd love to have a listen and hear them, like these pop artists say, okay, I like a Tool. Okay, why? Like, what about their music is something you like? And it can be, if it's even the corniest reason where it's like, oh, I used to listen to them with my dad kind of thing. Or if it's like, you really got deep into their music. I don't care. I just want to know the context.
Yeah. They just say a bunch of stupid shit like that, and they go, oh, I like them.
That's why I always think about it whenever I think of my favorite bands too. It's okay. Why do I always think about, okay, here's the band. Why do I like them? How did I start listening to them? And kind of how have I gotten to this, like where I am right now with their music? So it's just always kind of interesting also reflect on that too, to see how far you've gone in life since you started listening to that band or that artist, and then seeing maybe you've gone through some things in life and their music has actually helped you through those. And then you just get a larger appreciation for it, to where when I think of things with, I mean, there's a lot, people really go through that, but I think rock music and, some other genres as well, but I think rock music's on the forefront of this, and metal as well, where you can really get such an emotional connection to it based on the sound, or just mostly based on the lyrical content and what they're expressing, that it sticks with you in those tough times.
Yeah, definitely see where you're going with that.
All right. I got a question for you. So, because we were talking about like pop artists and the like bands that they like,
Yeah.
what band is your favorite band of all time? Or if you have like a top 10, top 5, I don't mind, whatever it is, whatever you want to go with, but I want to hear like if you just your favorite band, top 3, top 5, top 10, whatever.
It's gonna take me a while to count, get to 10, but my favorite band right now would be Avatar.
Oh wow, okay. Was not expecting Avatar,
Yeah,
but why Avatar?
because just their image, their music, their style is just, and they're probably one of the only bands I listen to that are from Scottish or Sweden. No, they are Sweden. So, yeah, when I found them out, I had the same reaction I had with Slipknot. I thought, oh man, this is so cool. How where has this been all my life?
Yeah, I can understand that too, because and you're right, they are Swedish. I just actually looked it up just to make sure of that one. But I know with Avatar, I'm not the biggest Avatar fan. I just don't connect with their music very much. However, it's not somewhere I'm like, I'm never gonna listen to Avatar. I mean, I think I featured them on there's a song of the day choice at least once, maybe twice. I'm not entirely sure. I was mad at the fact that I did not go and see them when they were in the state of Wisconsin because they were playing in Madison, which is 70 miles west of me. And I had a chance to go, but I think I went to a different concert that night instead. So I kind of, I maybe missed. I think I missed my shot on that one. However, when you're saying you had the same reaction, like when you looked at that when you first saw them, that you had to Slipknot, where it was something completely different, and it was something that you really weren't expecting. I've had that happen to me before too, so I can totally understand where you're coming from on that angle.
Yeah, you just it's like when you just find a new artist or an artist you never heard of that uses a different kind of material. You just get that, like, wow, this is so cool. And that feeling, and later, you just get more into this band or artist.
Was there a certain song by Avatar that when you like just starting to listen to the band and just starting to get into them, that once you heard it you were just instantly hooked?
Yeah, uh, bloody, bloody angel. I guess, yeah, the bloody angel. I think I just listened to it and saw the music video for it. And
See, I was gonna say
another thing.
I had the exact same thing happen to me when I was listening to it was someone that suggested, oh, you should listen to Motionless in White, and I checked them out. I looked at how they looked. I'm like, is this like a Manson ripoff at first? Listen to one song,
Yeah.
I was like, oh, this ain't bad. And then I listened to Eternally Yours by Motionless in White, and it was just right at that moment. I'm like, shit, I'm in. That's it, I'm in.
Yeah, I've never been big on Motionless in White. I think I like one or two of their songs that I like. I never really been big on them, and later on they kind of got a little comical with their music in a way.
I mean, yeah, there are some songs that I think they even came out with on their most recent album that had a little bit of a like I listen to them, I'm like, I'm not really sure what you were going with here. I think their second single, Brand New Numb, from their album this year was one of those songs. Like, I like the song, but it's like I was hoping for something different. But then again on their album this year, their song Thoughts and Prayers just absolutely went hard as all hell. And I thought, okay, this is what I wanted. Like, this is what I was hoping for, and this is what I'm getting. I'm good with it.
Yeah, I always thought of them like some type of death core type when I first heard them. Didn't really stick much to me, but
yeah, because they were a lot harder back on their first and second album, and then their last couple, they still have that hard sound, but it's like it's not as really. It was like a mix between deathcore and metalcore for their first two, and now it's more focused on metalcore with some experimentation, which in effect worries me a little bit because I've seen how us bands have gone from like that full on deathcore sound to slowly progressing into just like honestly like a straight up pop sound, like Bring Me the Horizon did.
Yeah, the first I believe the first deathcore band I ever got hooked on was Suicide Silence with Mitch.
Why Suicide Silence? Like, what got you hooked on them?
Well, for starters, they're heavy sounding, and vocals were, just different from what I heard. Because he can do some like graspy vocals, like high pitch and low. Pretty talented, I should say, for a vocalist.
See, that's interesting, especially. And you said that was which singer was that one?
Mitch. I forgot his last name.
Mitch Lucker.
But yeah, he's not.
Mitch Lucker.
Yeah. Yeah. He's not alive anymore. I think he died from some ABD.
Yeah,
four-wheeler accident.
He died in 2012. Looks like suffering severe injuries incurred from a motorcycle accident.
And how old was he?
Shoot. Let me see if I can pull it up real quick. He was 28.
Jeez. Might have been 30.
I mean,
yeah, he died pretty young.
Yeah, he beat out the 27 club though. But yeah, that's always one thing that's tough too and I think that's one thing that's been getting a little bit. It's interesting when it comes to musicians, especially in rock and metal, when they pass on, because it seems like there's always a couple of them that do every single year, as there always is. But I'm saying like not ones that are older and have been in for a while. It's the younger ones, or the ones that are still very prevalent. Like because what was his name? I can't remember. It was the lead singer for We Came as Romans, because he just died really recently. Kyle Pavone, because he died just last year.
Wow.
And then one other thing that I've been finding, I've been talking about this for a little bit, but there's always, and I've been hearing a lot of people talk about this, and I'm not sure what your take on this, and I kind of want to segue into a little bit, but when it comes to people in music, or just people that are very influential in just the culture of America and music and just pop culture in general, it's when they die, it's, we mourn for them and we remember them, but it's only for a little bit, and then we completely move on, and it's like we completely forget about them and what they did. And
well, I shouldn't.
Go on. I'm sorry.
Oh, well, we shouldn't really forget about them for what they did. We still listen to their music and still remember the good times and what they meant for us.
Oh, very much so. But what I'm saying is like when for how big of a artist they were, like I'll use Prince actually as an example, because when Prince died, it was a huge thing remembering him for about I think it was actually like within culture, it was only like a couple of days. However, where I was, because I was actually in Minnesota at the time, like it was everyone remembered him for like a month, and then afterwards it was completely gone.
Well, yeah, that's exactly what it is.
However, when it comes to rock and metal, especially over the past couple of years, it's been different to the point where it's during a lot of shows and during a lot of things when it revolves around music. When it revolves around music and new songs that are coming out, bands are making new songs, they're really channeling the remembrance of a lot of these artists that have passed on recently, or maybe passed on too soon. And I'm not sure if with the new music, that if you've listened to a lot of new music so far this year, if you're really getting that vibe, or last year for that matter too, because there was a lot of that last year as well.
Yeah, like when Chester Bennington passed away, it crushed a lot of people, and it was just absolutely unforgettable. And for that, the new album became number one hit, or the song alone, just for the guy passing away.
Well, when it comes to that album, the One More Light album, I really didn't like the album, I'll still say this: I thought it was one of their worst albums. However, when it comes down to after he died, it was taking another look at it and seeing what was actually going on. You get it's so much more appreciation is gained for that album based on the honesty in Chester Bennington's lyrics. Yet we never really knew what was going on. But when it comes to the influence part of it as well, there are bands that when they're doing stuff, they still bring up the musicians that we lost. And Chester Bennington is always one that always pops up. I mean, Disturbed always does it pretty much like every single show. Every time Mike Shinoda goes on stage to do something for a solo project, they usually does it in the end and lets the crowd take Chester Bennington's part. I know Skillet on their new album, they made a song that was all based upon you using what happened to Chester Bennington as for basically people saying, this is something that's tragic that happened, but if you need the strength, we're here for you, in a way. So when it comes to Chester, it's very different, and when it comes to rock music, it's very different to where when these icons and these legends and these just fantastic musicians pass on too early, we remember them, and they're still very much a part of the culture within rock and metal music.
Yeah, exactly. When that person or who passes on, I trying to think of an artist that passed away. So I'm not sure, but yeah, I definitely agree what you said there. And
I mean, there's another number of them too that are like that. I mean, Chris Cornell is one of them as well.
He died, the same year, I think a couple months before Chester hung himself. And
yeah, it was about 2 months.
Didn't he kill himself too, or did he just, was it natural cause or something?
No, Chris Cornell's was suicide as well. I'm not sure what the reason was or what the cause, like what happened exactly.
Yeah, and Chester died on Chris Cornell's birthday, and a lot of people speculated like, oh, that's probably the main reason here, even though there could be a lot of other million reasons why, but we still don't know.
There can be a lot of other reasons at play, but there's a very tough reason that goes along with it, and I kind of understand the reason behind it or just kind of the reason for the date and why like it might be correlated due to the fact that when you're in that kind of mode, when you're in that really like depressive, potentially suicidal state, and a specific day or event or time happens to where it kind of just kicks it into overdrive. It's not that you're doing it because you're trying to like, oh, I'm gonna do it on this day. You're doing it because it's just that I don't want anyone to do it, but the feeling is there's so much emotion and there's so much pain that you just want it to stop.
Yeah, exactly. It could be a lot of reasons. I dealt with it before. I mean,
well, because think about this. We've all gone through times where I'll use holidays as a perfect example because we've all gone through times where, say, we've lost a loved one, or you were in a long-term relationship and you are no longer with that person, but the wound is still fresh and it hurts real deep, and you get to a certain holiday, whether it be like Valentine's Day or Thanksgiving or Christmas or something like that, and it's just the pain is just amplifies. And it doesn't have to, and it can just be, maybe you lost, like you said, you lost a loved one, or you're no longer in a relationship with someone you love, or maybe you lost a friend, something like that.
Yeah. Um, yeah, I lost both my parents, and it's been quite hard this year, and still dealing with that, but I turned out okay, I guess.
You lost both your parents this year in 2019?
Well, my dad in 2018. My mom died in same month in March.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's been hard on me and my family, but hey, we found a light.
Was music any kind of a catalyst into helping you find that light, or was it something that really helped you through that whole entire process of them passing, and then you? Now, I'm not saying not gonna. I don't want to say you moving on from them, or it's like is you accepting that they're gone and moving forward with your life with the remembrance of your parents still there.
I guess music takes a part of that, but to me, it was just being around the people I love, people that care so much about me, and I had a lot of text messages saying how am I, or asking if I'm doing okay. I have a lot of people, friends that just message me a day. Still have me in my thoughts, in their thoughts, and I'm extremely grateful for that. So.
Well, then I guess it really shines light on the one of my favorite Disturbed song, "The Light." With the end of the chorus, I was saying sometimes darkness can show you the light, to where yes, you lost both your parents, but you can see how much you're loved within your family and within your friends, and how much they truly care about you and how much they want to support you with anything. And when times get tough, they're going to be there to help you through it.
Yeah, yeah.
I gotta say that as for that though, you're a lucky man, because there's not a lot of people that have that.
Yeah, and I'm grateful to have such people in my life. I couldn't, probably wouldn't be here without them. And
Well, put it this way, I'm definitely glad that you are here with us still, because
thanks.
the world needs great people. We really do. And I can tell if there's so many people that love and care about you, you're clearly doing something to affect many lives in a positive way. So the fact that you're still here is fantastic's not even the right way to put it. It's fantastic doesn't exemplify it in its entire light.
Yeah, thanks for that. Yeah, I'm thinking about taking my life around and doing good for others as well.
And what do you mean by doing good for others exactly?
Just be there for someone who needs me, pretty much, like a friend or a family member. Like I was always there for them. They've been there for me. So.
All right, I wasn't trying to like really say or like trying to judge you on anything. Like I just wanted to see what your mind was for that when you're saying trying to help out others and potentially share your happiness with others as well. I wanted to see what your mindset was in that specifically.
Yeah. All right. Well.
I got actually a couple more, like one really other thing I kind of want to talk to you about if you still have some time.
Yeah, sure. I have all the time in the day, so.
Perfect.
Hit me.
Alrighty, we've had loads and loads and loads of what I have thought have been really good albums that have come out this year, and some stinkers. I'm not gonna lie, there have been some complete stinkers, and we still have a couple coming up the pipeline as well. So, how kind of connect are you with new music that's been coming out this year? Have you listened to any of it? Are there any albums or songs that from this year that you're just like, holy shit, now this is what I'm talking about. This is fantastic.
Oh, the New Year's. I haven't really quite listened to them a lot. Haven't really been that band that got my eye, so I haven't really listened to the new album.
Which band was that again?
Oh, I thought you mentioned the band. Sorry.
No, I didn't. I was wondering what band you were talking about.
Well, there's this one band I'm listening to right now that caught my eye. That is My Ticket Home. They were a metalcore band, but then their last two albums they transitioned to lead singer who now plays bass, and I have a new guitarist and I think a new drummer. I'm not sure, but yeah, their new stuff sounds really cool.
Sam, just pulling their stuff up right now, and just trying to take a look. It looks like they've had the same singer for about. It's kind of like the band's been pretty consistent with their lineup since 2013. So
yeah,
interesting. I've never actually heard of them before, so I'm very curious to see what it is. Because heavy metal band from Ohio. All right, something good coming out of Ohio for once. But just because I know there's a couple other albums still yet to come out this year that I'm looking forward to, because we've got Alter Bridge is coming out with one in the middle of October. End of October, Saint Asonia, Adam Gantier's current band, they're coming out with their second album, which I'm really excited about. A Day to Remember still got one coming out. Apparently, In This Moment's coming out with something on Halloween. I don't know if they're just coming out with a full-fledged album, if they're going to announce the album with a single. I don't know what's going on with that, but apparently something is. So I'm curious to see how that looks. And are you excited for any of those or anything that's kind of come out in the past? Like, I know Slipknot's new album. I'm trying to think of some other like heavier ones that you might have listened to. I'm kind of coming at a loss for that one because I'm not sure really what you were listening to.
Well, I do like Alter Bridge. I've been into them ever since I first got into rock, and their new song sounds really, really good. And the Adam Gante's new band, yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing what they can do. New material they can work with as well in this new album.
I mean, I've listened to all the singles so far. When it comes to, specifically when it comes to, I'm gonna start off with Saint Asonia with Adam Ganti. I loved the first single, The Hunted. Their second one, I was a little thrown off by. I like it, not as much as The Hunted though. Alter Bridge's singles, there's some I've been like, okay, I'm not really sure what's going on here, but their song In the Deep, I think it was the fourth single on this album. I'm making a big, bold statement on this one, saying it's the second best song they've ever written. I absolutely love it.
Yeah, I like the songs like what's Better Place or something. Really got me hooked up into the new album.
And saying that you're a big a fan of Alter Bridge since you've been into rock music, have you checked out their guitarist Mark Tremonti, his side project at all?
No.
All right, his band is just his last name. It's called Tremonti. I think they got 4 albums out. He sings on it. I know he's sung on one other Alter Bridge song so far, or maybe a couple, but I know he's got sung on one. He's singing on one in the new album that I'm aware of, but I've actually connected more and liked his side project more than I've liked Alter Bridge. I don't know why. I think his side project sound is really good.
Yeah, he is a great guitarist in Alter Bridge and Creed. Don't judge, but yeah, I like some Creed.
I'm not judging.
Well, a lot of people, they don't really seem to like Creed very much, but every band has a criticism.
Oh, every band has their criticism. There is no one perfect band. Like even the Beatles had their criticism.
Uh,
But yeah, I'd say give Tremonti a shot if you listen to him, and to speak on Creed as well, as just from him as a guitarist. It's hard when it's not easy to have being a successful band in the late 90s, early 2000s like Creed, and then become one of the bigger rock bands of the 21st century with Alter Bridge, and then also have a successful side project that you're both the guitarist for and the lead singer for. That's not something you see every day.
Yeah, exactly. See if Wes Borland from Limp Bizkit can do the same thing.
We'll see if they can pull off the same thing as well. I mean, there's always a lot of criticism around Limp Bizkit as well, but most of their criticism comes from their frontman Fred Durst.
Yeah.
I know they were supposed to come out with something new sometime soon. I thought it was this year, but I don't think it's happening. And for me, I kind of hope it doesn't because I'm like, I'm like Limp Bizkit really kind of over that. But if they come back with something, be interested to see what it's like.
Yeah, me too. It's like Limp Bizkit again, another band I got into, like in the new metal kind of phrase. I still jam out to some of the music, guilty pleasure,
Oh yeah, totally fine. Like when it comes to new metal, that kind of style, I was more into what Papa Roach was doing, like in the early 2000s. So it's like like Getting Away with Murder, Last Resort, Between Angels and Insects. That's really where I kind of stuck with when it came to that new metal scene.
Yeah, I liked Papa Roach as well. Back when they first started out, and later on, I just transitioned to other stuff.
Yeah, because when Papa Roach was really kind of fully into that new metal sound, it was good. Like that's how I put it. It was really good at the beginning, and then as time went on, it was kind of like the sign of the times type thing, where it just wasn't necessarily going as strong, just due to the fact there weren't a lot of people into it. They came out with an album in 2015 where they went a lot more hard rock style. I think the album was called Fear, and that one it was okay. This band is back. Oh my god, this is great. They came out with one in 2017 where they kind of did some of the same things, but then they experimented with more pop tendencies. I was like, it was good, but I kind of hope in the next one they go back to what they did in 2015. They came out with one earlier this year, and they leaned much more to those pop tendencies, and I just was rather disappointed with it. But then again, that's my take. I do know some people that were really into the new Papa Roach album, but for me, it was just, I wish they'd either stick with that, that full-on new metal sound, because they did on one track and I really liked it, or stick to that, hard rock sound with a little bit more deeper content.
Yeah, the new metal genre kind of in the things right now, since we have bands like Chord or Slipknot, for example, they're still going on. Yeah, they still sound heavy and they're still doing their thing. Even though bands like Papa Roach, for example, they're just focusing on new stuff, new sound, and how to get a wider audience to their music.
Did you listen to the new Korn album at all that came out about, I want to say, 2.5 weeks ago?
Yeah, I listened to a little bit of that, and it was pretty good.
For myself, I wasn't the biggest fan of it, but I've never been the biggest fan of Korn's music overall. However, when it comes down to it, I thought for fans of the band, they're really going to like that album because it delivers on everything the fans of Korn really want. And I got to give a lot of I got to give a lot of credit because the lyrics were very, very personal, and they had metaphors in there that were very relatable to both what they were trying to talk about with the death of Jonathan's wife, and then also being able for other people listening to it to relate it to their lives.
Yeah. I was thinking that they would, if they were doing a new album, they might talk about the past things that what happened to Jonathan Davis since his wife passed and everything else.
And the second half of that album, they really deep dove into that with the lyrical content, and I thought that was the correct move. There've been a lot of bands that have been doing that, where their lyrics have been very honest, though they've been kind of filled with metaphors that you know exactly what they're talking about, and they're expressing that through it. It's been a rather popular thing for a little bit. And I think it's really coming to the forefront this year. Last year there was a little bit of it, and it really got off with Architects' album Holy Hell, because they basically spent the whole entire album going through the grief process from losing their Tom Cyril, their guitarist, and the guy that wrote all their music. So it's something that I've been seeing more and more recently, and I've been a bigger fan of it because it provides honesty, and it's actually making a lot better music than I heard back in 2018 and 2017.
Yeah, I liked Korn's 2016 album, Serenity of the Suffering, because it sounded very, original to their old, from the first four albums, which are, in my opinion, the best of Korn albums you'll ever listen to in my book. They just seem to bring that back into this album. So I'm glad to see that they stuck with that.
I mean, I'm gonna say it again. I'm not the biggest fan of stuff, but I'm glad they stuck with their old, their classic sound, because the fans wanted it and they got it, and it sounds like you really you really fit into that mold.
Yeah. The views on that I like are The Hating, Different Worlds, and Rotting in Vain. Those are probably the three top favorites of that album.
Interesting, because I'm taking a look at it. I don't think I can't remember what I said. I know I have it out online, what my favorite was from those albums. I just don't remember what they were.
Any band that you're excited for this year or coming out with a new album?
Well, probably the one I'm most excited about still coming up is Saint Asonia, because I really like the Adam Gontier sound. So I'm really excited to see what he comes out with and the rest of the band. Probably followed by Alter Bridge and what they do, and seeing how this album turns out. Followed third, I'd say probably In This Moment, just because again, what they've done, I'm curious as to see what they pull off. And then at the end, probably A Day to Remember, just because I'm not the biggest on the band overall. But again, we're already through, 3/4 of the year so far. So most of the albums that are coming out, or we're going to come out in 2019, have already been released. So I am excited for some of the albums, but I'm getting prepared to do the year-end video of what I thought was the best song of the year, the worst song of the year, the most surprising album, the most disappointing album, the best album, the worst album. And I've got stuff pegged for that already, where it's like, okay, I've got my lists, I've got my rankings, and some of them I'm getting excited for, but I'm taking a look at my bad list, and there's not much there, which I'm glad about, because it's like, well, then if I'm struggling to fill that out, that's a good thing. I'd rather be struggling to fill that out than struggling to fill out, okay, what was the best album of the year? All right, I've got 2 out of the 10 I need. But most recently, yeah. I'd say probably over the past month, because we've had a lot in September. Over the past month, I thought the best album to come out in September was Shaped by Fire by As I Lay Dying. First album in 7 years after all the crap that went through with what they went through, and I thought they absolutely killed it.
Yeah, I listened to that song. I like it, and I'm gonna try to see As I Lay Dying in November.
Lucky. I know they're coming to closest to me. So closest to me is if I can go and see them in Milwaukee, Madison, or Chicago, and they're coming to Chicago on a Wednesday, which kind of stinks, because I'm like, oh, I'd love to go, but then I'd probably want to take the next day off of work, because it would still take me a while to get back home, and then I'd have to be up at 4:30 in the morning.
Yeah, we're gonna see them on November 22nd, which is on a Friday, so hopefully I have nothing planned until then.
Outside of As I Lay Dying, do you have any other concerts planned for this year?
Not really. Uh, I, we was speculating to see Green Day next year with Weezer and Fall Out Boy, but I'm not big on Fall Out Boy, so I was leaving that out and wait till other tours be announced, which is in January.
Yeah, I mean, we're going to get a lot more tours announced closer, probably like in December or in the beginning of 2020, because you're going to get bands planning for the spring and the summer right then and there. Usually in the winter, I mean, it's the bands are going to tour less because you can't really do much outside and there's no really festivals going on, so you're kind of confined to just concert halls or to, to arenas. But I'd much rather be seeing a show within like a concert hall or a ballroom setting where it's just standing room only and it's rather in close quarters than go to like a theater where you have to sit down or an arena where it's if you're not on the floor you're kind of way away from everything.
Yeah. There are a few festivals I would really love to see, like Rock and Ring or something like that.
Black and Rain, what festival is that?
Rock and Ring.
Hey, Jesse, it sounds like you're like dialing.
Yeah, hold on a second.
Okay. Be bad if I started singing right now as like an elevator music to kind of pass the time. Well, it's because I have a horrible singing voice, and that would just not go over well. I mean, it might.
Mm.
Are we all good?
I hope so.
All right, sounds good. So that festival you're talking about, continue on.
So Rock and Ring is pretty much like kind of like Louder Than Life in a way. They have a bunch of set up bands like
Oh wait, is that the one in Germany?
opener. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I believe so. Yeah, I saw the lineup and I really wanted to see it.
There have been some bands that are already announcing that they're going to be at Rock 'em Ring and Rock 'em Park this in 2020 already. And I think the big one so far that's announced that so far has been System of a Down.
Yeah, I really want to see them. Hopefully, see them next year or so if they were ever torn.
You might have to go over to Europe for that one.
Damn it. Well, I guess I have to go get a plane ticket.
I mean, if you really want to, I would highly suggest it because Europe is freaking awesome. I'm planning on going back for at least like a week or two next year because it's just it was fun.
Well, I'm going to see if my family feels like going because they don't usually like going out of state. So it might be a bit of a challenge for me.
Why wouldn't you just go by yourself? Just as a question.
Well, a lot of reasons. Number one, I don't drive. I don't have a license. And when I go to concerts, I usually, bring a friend over, or I go with my uncle.
Have you ever gone?
Because he's pretty.
Have you ever thought about going to a concert by yourself?
Possibly. Depends. Well, my uncle's pretty much an expert of getting tickets and good seats when I'm a bit short on money. So he got the money to pay for the tickets.
Okay, that makes sense. Basically, what I was just kind of gonna drive at that is if you had a chance, like if you had a chance to go and do something like that, where it's like if you really want to go see a show and it was only gonna be you, give it a shot. Or if like with that Rock 'em Ring, Rock 'em Park, if that's something that you really want to go to and that's like like a not like I'm not necessarily say like a lifelong goal, but like something you really want to go see, put it on the bucket list, why not give it a shot?
Yeah, yeah. I, I do want to see those bands one day, and
Plus, I mean, just look at the videos from Rock 'em Ring and Rock 'em Park. Just the sheer amount of insanity that goes on in those shows is it's. I'm not sure what type of like when you go see a show, if you just like to sit down and watch, if you like to just be in the crowd, or if you like to be like me and just jump into the mosh pit and go nuts. I don't know what your style is, but I mean, you could pretty much find whatever you wanted if you went there.
I'm pretty much the casual listener that just head bobs to a song and just pretty much the boring guy that just stands by while everyone else is going absolutely nuts.
Hey, bud, nothing wrong with that. It all depends upon how you want to enjoy the music and how you want to enjoy the concert experience. Whatever is going to make the most sense for you, that's what you should do. And that doesn't go for that goes for everybody, unless it involves you trying to actually physically harm or hurt or I'm saying like really hurt them. Then no. But if like in a mosh pit, if you're going to do the mosh pit thing, yeah, why not? If you want to stand and enjoy the music and head bop, yeah, go for it. If you want to sit down way in the corner and just enjoy listening to the music and watching the show, yeah, why not?
Yeah. Or a stage dive if you please. If the band will let you.
That's one thing I never done, but I still want to, because I think it'd be fun. But every time I go, now this is the fallacy I always run into by going to shows alone is I always want to crowd surf and stage dive, but I'm afraid all my stuff's gonna fall out of my pockets, and then I'm not gonna have my car keys to get back home.
Yeah, I'm afraid to break my neck or something, or get mauled by a bunch of people.
Well, I mean, I've gotten kicked in the face before trying to hold up some crowd surfers, so that was fun. But it's just kind of a risk you got to be willing to take if you're going to go for something like that. And when it comes to me losing my keys and my wallet and my phone, I don't really want to take that risk.
Not at all.
Now, well, but we've done an hour and 10 minutes already. I just looked at the time. I'm like, whoa. Did not know it was already an hour and 10 minutes.
What has it been like? It's now 8:09 right now?
Yeah, and we started, well, it's 7:09 where I am, so.
Oh. Well, lucky you.
Not lucky me. I'm going to be up at 4:30 in the morning tomorrow. So.
Jesus Christ, what you...
Yippee! Well, it's always what happens whenever I have like a later meeting. I don't want to end up waking up, going to work, and having to stay really late, and then try to go to the gym afterwards and come home and be home by like 8:30, 9 o'clock. If I can wake up early and do it all beforehand and be home by 5:30, I'm good with that.
Yeah.
So just
you have a lot of time on your hands.
You think I'd have a lot of time on my hands, but my free time, it's mostly work, gym, music, try and sleep for like 5 hours, repeat.
Yeah, I go to sleep pretty late at night, so
we're on that same sleep schedule where is it sleep late, wake up early, or stay up late, wake up early, and just hope for the best?
Yeah.
Oh, I feel you on that one.
Well,
well, on that note, Jesse, I'm going to say this it's been a fun time talking with you. Hopefully we can have you on again sometime again, because I want to hear about some of these other shows that you might be going to. Potentially want to hear about how As I Lay Dying, how that was. And if you get a chance to go to Rock 'em Ring or Rock 'em Park in Germany and just to enjoy all of that, because it doesn't sound like you'd make it maybe 2020, but maybe 2021, 2022, because, well, I still plan on doing this all the way up until, I can't. So.
Yeah, thanks for the interview. This really made my day. And talking to you about music and other stuff.
Hey, but talking to you about music made my day. I love talking to music with people. It's one of my favorite things to do, and always getting an honest conversation about why people really like music. I absolutely love doing this, man, and I was more than happy to have you on.
Thanks, man. I'll hope to do this again sometime and check in later.
Oh yeah, I'll have you back. Don't worry about that.
When is the podcast tomorrow?
I'll have it out basically. So in your time zone, it'll be available by 6 a.m.
Alrighty.
It'll be on Spotify, on Apple Podcasts, Google Play, and I'll have it on the YouTube channel as well. So I'll put it this way, it won't be hard to find.
Alrighty. I'll definitely check it out.
All right, awesome. Well, thanks again, Jesse, and we will definitely speak sometime soon on the podcast again, kind of catch up in some time and see how things have been going in your life and what kind of music you've been seeing or listening to.
Thank you for having me. It's been a pleasure, and rock on.
All right, thanks, bud. Rock on. Have a good night.
You too.
All right, bye, man.
Bye.
All right, so that was Jesse, and that was my bad because I thought he was going to be at Louder Than Life. He wasn't. I am going to take responsibility for getting the goof on that one, but that's just me. I really enjoyed the conversation with Jesse as well because, again, everyone has different musical tastes. I wasn't sure what his musical tastes were. He's always on a live stream, always a great sport, and we'll check in with him again in some time. I don't know how long that time's going to be. It might be 6 months, might be a year. Who knows, but he will definitely be back on. But I'm going to briefly touch on the three new albums, actually 2 new albums, because I didn't listen to Dragon Force's new album, and I do not want to put anything out there that I did not think about it. But the 2 albums I listened to this week were Hell Yeahs and Of Mice and Men's. So Hell Yeahs, quickly go through with it. I thought it was good. I thought Hell Yeah fans, if you're a really big fan of the band, you're going to really love it. Me, I was indifferent about it at times. I liked it at times. Honestly, it was all up to personal preference at that point. The song, God, what song was it? Because they had one song on there that was absolutely killer. Bury You. That song was absolutely killer. It was one of the most well-written songs I've heard all year. It was fantastic. Otherwise, some others, I thought they were a little bit more bouncing around, kind of all over the board. But I loved it, and Sky and Water was a song that they went all acoustic on, and it was definitely a tribute to Vinnie Paul. And I love what they did at the end because they put in this little audio recording, a 52-second audio recording from Vinnie Paul just talking about life, probably right before I think it was right before he passed. And my God, it just was a great tribute to one great drummer. Overall, though, I gave it like a 6.5 out of 10. Wasn't necessarily one of my favorite albums this year. Wasn't one of the worst, but I just wasn't the biggest fan of it overall, like I was expecting. As I was the same way with Earth and Sky by Of Mice and Men. I thought this album was going to be great going into it. I remember listening to How to Survive, their first single, back in February. It was hard, and that's what I wanted. Then Mushroom Cloud came. It was hard as well. That's what I wanted. The title song, Earth and Sky, showed up, and I kind of was going crazy because I'm like, this song is awesome. But then as I listened to the rest of them, as I listened to the whole entire album, there was really no discerning quality to it. Like, it just didn't stand out. It was a good album to listen to, but when I listened to it through and through, I'm like, I don't remember a lot of things that were going on. I don't remember a lot of these songs. It's not a bad album by any means. I just think that they have done better. I gave it a 6 out of 10 because there are good moments in there. More good than bad. But the reason it's kind of, more middle of the road is because I thought it was just a little bit bland. Next week, we will have the Issues album to talk about. And I am hoping we get this guest on. And I'm hoping we make it happen. Her name is Maddie. She is a huge Beartooth fan. And she has been on the podcast yet. We were going to try and get her on for Motionless in White. That didn't work. Try and get her on for Sleeping with Sirens. That didn't work. We're going to try for Issues now, and we're going to try and make sure this is going to work because I really want to talk to her about that album. So hopefully we get a chance to talk to her because she is well versed in music, and and basically we'll talk about Beartooth with her as well, because you need to hear some of her stories when it comes to Beartooth and Caleb Shomo. She's got good ones, guys. Trust me on that. I'm hoping that we get a chance to talk to her next week, but that is going to be it for me today, actually. So, yeah, I got to get this one ready to go for you guys so that if you want to, you can listen to it when it comes out October 1st in the morning. And will someone wake up Green Day? I mean, it's October 1st now. We need to wake up Green Day. September is over. Wake me up when September ends. Yeah, we need to wake them up. All right, thanks, guys, for listening. Thanks to Jesse for being on the podcast. Be sure to tune in next week when we go talk about issues with our friend Maddie. This is Kevin from the Chord Progression Podcast, brought to you by My Song They Rock 2000 to today, ending it with one hell of a see ya!